Hello, family. Angela Cage here with Cage Collaboration LLC. And today I want to talk to you about self confidence and a few different aspects of self confidence. And as you all know, if you've been following me since the inception of this journey, you've known me for years and years, you know that self confidence is something that's very near and dear to my heart. Self confidence is one of the cornerstones that Cage Collaborations is built upon because it is my goal to uplift and encourage and help you all out there build up your self confidence because self confidence is key to us being positive and doing other things that we need to do. And it's really the crux or the foundation for us to be able to do other things that we need to do because we need confidence in order to build healthy boundaries. We need confidence in order to be good to ourselves. We need confidence in order to put ourselves out there in front of others and be our true, authentic self. So it's really important that we understand that what self confidence is, and also ways that if you're struggling with self confidence, ways that you can begin to practice to build up your self confidence. Because you know, I want you all to win. And part of that is by being the best you that you can be and arriving in every space, knowing that you deserve to be there. And you need self confidence in order to do that. Because if you lack self confidence, then it's likely that you don't know your worth. So when you arrive in a space, you go there basically looking for what can be given to you or not really self assured that that is a space that you belong in. But really just going there and existing really in a space instead of living and really, living a full life. So that's what self confidence is about. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Now, there's a quote out here that I found by Stuart Stafford, and this says, confidence is when you believe in your abilities and in yourself, which is different from arrogance. Arrogance is when you think you are better than others and act accordingly. So it's good to have that distinction for people who struggle with self confidence and struggle to recognize self confidence because, walking with your head held high, knowing your worth, believing that you deserve to be in every space that your footsteps take you to, that is not arrogance. Arrogance is when you look down upon people, you put people down, and you really just think that you're better than they are. And one thing that I like to say when I'm at work and other spaces is people know that I like to hug, and some people are huggers and some people are not. But I always tell them, I would hug a homeless man on the street. And I normally say that when they say, oh, I'm sweaty or, oh, whatever the case may be, when they're thinking that something is off putting for me, that I may not want to hug them. But I tell them I would hug the homeless person on the street because I think that they deserve a hug just as well as I deserve one. And that's the wording that I use. And they say, okay, so they feel comfortable. They don't quite care if, they get a little sweat on me. Now, I will say I don't like other people sweat on me. I don't. But there is something about a hug. So, and again, that is just an example of how you cannot think of yourself as better than anyone else because the truth is we're really not. We're all here having this human experience, navigating this life in the best way that we know how possible. And no one person is better than the other. We may find ourselves at different points in life, and that's okay. But at no point in time is one person better than another person. And that's another thing that I want to bring you to as far as self confidence. And really, the title of this message is you need to be your own competition. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't be competing with who's ever next door in the next cubicle, the person in class. Don't be competing with them. You all are not on the same journey. You don't have the same experiences, although you might have similar experiences, but no one is living the exact life that you're living. So you shouldn't compare yourselves to them. And there's a message that I posted on the YouTube channel a few weeks ago that talks about focusing on the things that you can control. And this is where that can be applied as well, because you can't control what somebody else does, what somebody else has, how far they've gone, how much they achieve, or you can't stop their success or achievement. You can't be focused on that. You need to focus on you. So if you're unhappy about where you are, then you need to figure out, why are you in this place and what steps do you need to take in order to get there. And there's a quote that I posted today actually on the social media pages, and it says, a flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms. So that flower is not focused on what any of those other flowers are doing. It's doing the process of photosynthesis, getting what it needs from the universe to be able to bloom and live within its own life. And that's how we should be. We shouldn't be worried about what, the Joneses got, what the Clarks got, what any of them got. I need to worry about what Angela Cage got. And if I want something that I see other people have, then what do I need to do to get there? Or if somebody can walk in a room and command attention and just really fill that space and own it, and I feel like I can't, then I don't need to be competing and comparing or trying to be better than. I need to be figuring out, what do I need to do to show up in a room and step in there and command attention and really just show up knowing that I deserve to be there. What steps do I need to take? And here's the thing that I do. I'm not going to compete. I'm not going to be trying to be better than the next sister out here, the next brother out here. I'm not doing none of that. But what I will do, and the people in my village can tell you, because this is how I've created some of those village relationships. I'll be like, sis, how did you do that? I see you just walk up in here and you do this, and that. How did you do that? What did you do? How did you get here? So whatever the case may be, I'll ask them. Now, some people are not as open and they may not want to tell you, but for those that I've, actually reached out to, like, like even with a job or school or whatever the case may be, what steps did you take? What classes did you take? Who did you connect with? And we may begin to build a bond through that, because they know I'm not competing with them. And I'm not trying to take what's yours. I'm just out here getting what's mine. And for me, I believe that there's enough room at the table for all of us. Why? Because I have self-confidence, and I have enough confidence in myself that I surround myself with a village of people who are confident in themselves, and we can all be at the same table doing what we need to do in our own unique way, and none of us are competing with each other. So that's another thing that you need to do, is surround yourself with people who are going to support you and uplift you on this journey towards your self-confidence. You don't need to be engaging with people who are going to be putting you down. You already struggling trying to get this built up, taking it step by step, building it higher and higher. And then you have days where you feel like I'm there, and then you might fall down a few pegs. That's when your village lift you up. No, because we talk to our village like, oh, I did this, I'm stupid, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Your village ain't going, yeah, girl, you dumb. Mm-mm. Nope, my village ain't going to do that. Now, they will hold me accountable. Yeah, that really wasn't the smartest decision, but they're not going to allow me to make statements that are about myself, that are put downs, and they're not going to put me down either. My village is supportive. And if you don't have you a supportive village, get one. And I say, be the village that you want to be. And I do have a YouTube video about that, the power of a nurturing village or something of that nature. But it's about having a nurturing village that stands behind you, that can stand in the gap for you, and that will build you up and will keep you going. So that is very, very, very important. So another quote that I found that kind of goes in line with that is, confidence is not, they will like me. Confidence is, I'll be fine if they don't. And again, that's that no competing thing. And, you're not out here just hoping to get something. You're showing up and knowing that you deserve to be in the space. You deserve to get what the universe has for you. And it's okay if you show up and you're your full, authentic self and you're not for everybody. Because guess what? I know I'm not for everybody. I know that. People have said I'm too positive, I'm too loud, I want to hug all the time. They not with all that. And that's fine. And when people tell me, like, oh, I had somebody tell me this week, like, oh, I'm not really a hugger. They're like, I'll hug you this time, but I'm not really a hugger. And that's fine. I can respect that. You let me know that, I'm not going to reach in for the hug. I want to respect you. But for those that reciprocate, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And when I figured that out and accepted it for myself and was fine with it, I'm fine with not being everybody's cup of tea, because I'm my own cup of tea. You hear me? And I can be in a space where don't nobody feel me, and I'm still going to have self-confidence. And that's the level that I want you all to get to. The other thing that I want to tell you about ways to build your self-confidence is stop being hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace. You're not going to do everything perfect. There are going to be things that you're going to have to work at. But when you find the things that you do great, say that, oh, I do this real well. And write those things down. Make a list of the things that you do really well. Because when you have those days where you're feeling down and out, low and unworthy, pull that list out. Like, nope, I do this well, I do this well, I do this well. A person who don't have no worth wouldn't be able to have this list of things that they do well. So I'm telling you, it can save you every time, because our mind, we have millions and millions and millions of thoughts a day, some good, some bad. And we have to talk back to the thoughts that are not good. So you need to prepare yourself, create those lists that you can pull out, record yourself a message, on your phone. And just save it, because on the days where you're feeling down and you can't bring yourself to pull a list out, the one thing that I know we always have is our phone. So go on to that voice note that you save for yourself and listen to the love letter that you wrote for yourself. Because sometimes you won't have your nurturing village. You won't have the strength to reach out and call them. But what you can do is play the love letter that you've written to yourself and believe it. Believe those things. And here's another quote. This one is by Louise Hayes. And it says, you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. So try approving of yourself and see what happens. And that's really what this is all about. You don't have to constantly say, criticize yourself and be so hard on yourself and point out and get down about the things that you're not good at. And that's not to say if you're not good at something that you shouldn't try to work to improve, because every day that we wake up, we should be working to be better than the last. That should be our goal. So we should be always looking to improve, but we don't have to beat ourselves up and, down to the dust about something that we did wrong, or we felt, I made a mistake at work today. And it was something that I should have seen. It was right there in my face, and I just completely missed it. And I'm like, oh, and I admitted it, because, I have enough confidence in myself that I can admit when I've made a mistake, and I don't have to feel bad about it. So again, part of that self-confidence. So yeah, I made that mistake, but did I beat myself up about it all day long? Oh, I'm dumb, or oh, they're going to fire me, or oh, this or oh, that. No. I said I was wrong. I course corrected, gave the person the correct information, and we were able to move forward. And those are the type of things that you should be able to do. So as you build your confidence up, you'll find that you'll be able to make mistakes, and it won't be a big deal. You'll learn from them, because I tell you one thing, the mistake that I made today, it is forever implanted in my mind. So this particular situation, whenever it comes up, check, I already know what the correct information is. So you learn from it and you move on. The other thing that I want to tell you about building your self-confidence is learning how to say no. A lot of times we want people to like us, and this goes back to that quote from Louise Hayes about confidence is not they will like me. I think that's what it said. Let's go back here. Yes, confidence is not they will like me. Because a lot of times we just say yes because we want to be people pleasers, and we don't want to disappoint people. But in the end, we end up not pleasing ourselves, not putting ourselves first, and disappointing ourselves and stretching ourselves very thin. So get comfortable with saying no. and practice it. And here the universe is. This message was meant because I was just talking to someone today about having the ability to say no. So I said, with your daughter, let them know that you're trying to practice saying no. So tell them to arbitrarily ask you for things that they don't want and give you the chance to practice saying no. And it doesn't feel comfortable. If you're used to being a people pleaser and a yes person, and it doesn't matter what it is, you could have ran a marathon race, you could have worked all day, a 11-hour shift, you got the kids, you got the babies, you got the this, you got the that, all this responsibility. And somebody says, hey, can you do this? And because you don't want to say no, because you don't want to disappoint them, you agree to it. Learn how to say no. You're not wrong for saying no. And here's what I'll even add on to that. Learn that no is a complete sentence. Can you do this? No. No additional explanation needed. Now, they might ask you why, and you can get to the point where you can say, because I don't want to. And let that be the truth. But get in the practice of saying no. And again, I've said this before on other messages. If you're not comfortable with saying no, then work up to it. Can you do this? Can you come and pick me up from work? I know you just had a hard day and, everybody got pulling you in 100 different directions. You might have a family member in the hospital and the dog need to go to the vet, but I need you to come pick me up from work. Can you do that? Unfortunately, that's not going to be something I'm able to do. You can work up to it. So it's not a no, but the end is the same. And if they come back, then you keep saying, unfortunately, I can't. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that. Unfortunately, I can't, I just can't. Until you get to the point where you're comfortable just saying no. And you're not wrong. And when people tell you no, they're not wrong either. So just remember, anything that I tell you, it goes both ways. It goes both ways, and you have to be able to handle that. But yes, it goes both ways. But that's the message that I have for you guys today. And I really just want to leave you with, and it goes back to that flower analogy. Be your own competition. You're the only person that you should be trying to be better than. I said it earlier. Be better than the person that you were yesterday. You versus you. Really get that. Be your own competition. Don't worry about what's going on around you, and write yourself a note. If you always comparing yourself to someone else, as soon as you recognize that, stop. I can't focus on them. What they got is for them, and what I'm trying to get is for me. So I'm my own competition. I want you all to win, and I love you all always. Continue doing the things to build up that self-esteem, because I'm telling you, when we build up our self-esteem, we show up in room, we going to command, and we're going to know our worth, and everything that is for us, we're going to embrace it because we know we deserve it. Make it a great day. I love you all always.